be racing a CLI Jetta today. There's two new drivers in the class. There is the Andre Ellis that will be joining us. You saw that beautiful red Alfa Romeo Giulietta Sprint out there. What a gorgeous looking little motor car on the screen right now, coming out of Castrol Corner. And as well as that, coming out of retirement, Yolinda Fourie in her Jetta. So there's two Jettas out there today, one to join Natasha Tischendorf. So we welcome them. First ever race meeting for main circuit for Yolinda Fourie in that 2-litre Jetta, the Peacehaven at Wind Farm machine. Of course, Oliver Hintonhouse not going to be taking part in this particular event. He was on pole position, but due to, of course, rules reasons, he will not be taking any further part. That means Melanie Lambert will be in the VW Fox on pole position in the fine cars.
Yeah, nice to see her back out there in the fine cars. Remember the last event, she took part in the sports and GTs, and it didn't quite work out for her in that car, so she's back in the fine cars, where she started out back in the day when she was still Miss Melanie Cook, back in the day before she got married. So she's back out there in the fine car category. They are tucked in there just behind the Kaltron Supercars as the group works its way through turn 5, Fostron corner, as they work their way towards us with Ryan Catt and Glenn Phillips. That's on pole position under the City of Cape Town and Line Property Management Bridge. They work their way through Castrol as well. The lights will go off, and race number 1 for the day out of 20 races will be up and go, Byron, as the fine cars now also make their way towards the start line.
The Fox of Melanie Lambert will lead them off. You'll see there in that second place, it's Dave Alexander in the MG in British Racing Green. Look on the outside though, it is the angle box, the Ford Anglia there of course, Arnold Lambert, the paint chemistry car, as they go now the leaders into turn 2.
Right through turn 2 they come now, out of Castrol Corner. It's Glenn Phillips that sits in P1 there, with as they work their way through the kink, with Ryan Catt in that second position. Halleck is there in that third spot. We'll have a look and see now as they make their way through Interceptor Shoeware, running up the hill. They make their way towards turn 4, Saddle Sweep, but the fine cars, Byron, are heading through turn 3, Interceptor.
Oh, the MGB going through turn 3 now and holding off the Alfa Romeo. And that Alfa Romeo, like we said, the returning Andre Ellis. But the MGB that will really join them is Derek Hulse, another returnee to the racing scene over here. I remember him in a BMW a number of years ago. But now they go down the back straight, all of them, and into turn 5 once again to complete lap 1 of 8, Frankie.
Yeah, that's the supercars on screen working their way out of Fostron Corner to end the opening lap. It is Glenn Phillips from Ryan Catt that sits out there in P1 as they work their way into turn number 1. And in that third spot, you've got Carl Halleck. But the fine cars are working their way out of turn 5.
Well, that is Arnold Lambert coming out in the Anglia. Look at Dave Alexander. Will be all over the back of that angle box. They'll be side by side down the straight towards turn 1 they'll go. Remember, we do have some technical troubles here at the moment, so we might not have that turn 1 section for a little while. But Dave Alexander makes his way through, going into turn 1. Look at who's closing up. It's the chairman of the class. It's Natasha Tischendorf that really closes up as Gunther Appelgren comes past as well and fighting his way from the back, Frankie.
Through turn number 3, Interceptor now, running up the hill. We've got the supercars. They're working their way towards turn number 4. That supercar you see on screen now, that's Ernest Page. He's at the back of the field. He joined from pit lane, and then he's moving right out the way down the back straight to allow them to come through. It looks like he's got a problem with that motor car as they run down towards Fostron Corner. Phillips from Catt, and right on his case is Carl Halleck as they work their way down into Fostron Corner.
Just going to go through turn 3 now. And then into turn 4, that of course is the Alfa Romeo of Andre Ellis leading Di Dugmore at the moment. Di Dugmore in the Austin Healey that makes its way through turn 4 now. Onto the back straight, caught a glimpse of Gunther Appelgren in that E36 BMW. I think he just made it past the Lambert car. Of course, that's the Anglia, and still ahead then of Natasha Tischendorf, I think, who just may have gotten past there into turn 5. You'll see Gunther Appelgren right on the back, almost there, you could say, of the next man, and I think that was Derek Hulse in that section too.
Right into Castle Corner. The old supercars are working their way through the kink. So the leading group of supercars are making their way into turn number 3, into Interceptor Corner. And it's still Phillips, Cat and Halleck. As you see the three of them not too far behind them. We've got Stefan Okier, Shane Boscombe from Line Property, followed there by Brad Fenner, as we watch that group of supercars make its way now down the back straight towards turn number 5, Fostron Corner. That's the first 3 supercars heading into Fostron.
Out of turn 2, Gunther Appelgren is the man battling it out there with Di Dugmore at the present moment. Di Dugmore having come through just a little bit over here now. And, well, still going now again into turn 2 will be Andre Ellis in the Alfa Romeo, going a bit wide there, being chased at the moment. Now he's been chased by Di Dugmore, excuse me, so they come out of turn 2 now, but there'll be 5 laps left to go. I see Glenn Phillips is putting himself a fastest lap, Frankie. So we, as I say, 5 laps left to go of the 8, and down the back straight we go now as the BMW of Gunther Appelgren. He's now mixing it up with some of the supercars. There's Arnold, Melanie Lambert, I should rather say, who's currently the leader of the class in the Jetta. And closing up the gap then to her will be that bright green E36 on the main straight underneath the city of Cape Town, Lime and Castrol Bridge.
Right, the leading supercars are working their way up the hill towards turn number 4. Running towards Sidle Sweep, the double right-hander. There they go, through your screen. Glenn Phillips, Ryan Catt, Carl Halleck. First, second, and third. Halleck is slightly off from Phillips and Catt. As they work their way down the back main, will pick up the rest of the supercars that will be coming out of turn 4 now. There are quite a few of them we're still waiting to see. And that should be Nortje, Boscombe, and the chairman of the club, Craig Hume. But in Castrol Corner, there's a lovely fight, Byron, in those supercars working their way towards turn 3 Interceptor.
Turn 3 Interceptor Corner. Gunther Appelgren just before the turn has taken the lead of the fine car section. That means Melanie Lambert is now in 2nd position. But looky here, Dave Alexander finds himself in 3rd position in that Morgan +4 of his. A mighty job for him over here as they filter through the double apex right-hander at Sidle Sweep. Like I say, mixing it up there with some of the fine cars. That, of course, is Andre Rose that's in the mix over there as well. And they go down the back straight. There's 4 laps left to go, including the one we are currently on, into turn 5. And look at the gap already that has been pulled by Gunther Appelgren on the rest. So they'll come around now. Melanie Lambert in 2nd.
Into turn 3, Interceptor Corner. Your first 3 supercars are busy working their way through, heading up the hill. The Malmesbury straight towards turn 4. Sidle Sweep, the double right hand, and still Ryan Catt in P2. He's all over the back bumper there of a race leader, Glenn Phillips, as they work their way down the back main. They're getting further and further away from Carl Halleck. That's in a lonely 3rd spot now. There you see him all on his own as the leading duo are nose to tail working their way into turn 5, into Fostron. But Byron, back to you. That dice going into turn 2 in the fine cars is pretty epic.
Yeah, she's in trouble, Melanie Lambert over here. She's got Dave Alexander right on her tail over there. Rose will fall behind them. Of course, one of the supercars having endless troubles there, unfortunately. But they'll go through the kink and towards turn 3 now. You'll see Gunther Appelgren has built up a nifty advantage over the 2 behind him now. It's all to play for 2nd and 3rd in this race. Now onto the Tygerberg straight. They'll then run as well. 3 laps left to go, or 2 and a bit, you could say, left to go in this Bijou Trustees fine car section.
Well, the supercar leaders are heading into turn 2 into Castrol Corner right now, and they're picking up a couple of the back markers of the classic cars as they work their way through and out of Castrol Corner. There you see the back markers of the supercar, of the fine cars that are stuck now just behind the leading duo of supercars that's working its way up the Malmesbury straight towards Sidle Sweep, double right-hander. It is still Phillips and Cat. There was 0.8 of a second between them when they started this lap. Now they're heading towards the end of the lap, starting the third and final sector of the lap, working their way down towards turn number 5, Fostron corner.
Well, as we head towards turn number 1, it is going to be Dave Alexander that now is second in the fine car section. Melanie Lambert will be in third position. Coming across the line now, Derek Hulse in the MGB will come across the line. Here are a few more coming out of turn 5 at the present moment. But now going into turn 2, you'll see that it is going to be Dave Alexander that holds that second place nice and hard over there, and of course he'll be right behind. Will be
coming out of turn number 1. We've got a nose-to-tail race here between first and second in the supercars, heading up towards turn number 2, and that is Ryan Cat. That's in P2, crowding that bootlet there of race leader Glenn Phillips as they work their way out of Castro Corner, with Carl Halleck coming into view there, still on his own in a lonely third position. As a matter of fact, they are working their way now into Interceptor Corner, and through Interceptor Corner they come up the hill towards turn 4, the double right-hander saddle sweep.
Well, we go now into turn 5. The leader of the fine cars, Gunther Appelgren in the E36 BMW, will come out of turn 5 onto the main straight now as he comes out of the sweep, and then now towards the line as we run. And we'll see now how that second place battle is looking. I think Dave Alexander has made his way past. And then Melanie Lambert will be third, crossing the start-finish line right now.
Right, picking up the leaders of the supercars. They're heading into turn number 1. And it's still Phillips. We've got a yellow flag that's out there. I'm not sure. There's a problem out there in turn number 1. Yellow flag is, oh, that's a supercar. That's a 74. That's Andre Rowe. That's the new driver in supercars that's gone off the circuit, as the leading 2 supercars are working their way towards Castro Corner. And the third place man heading towards Castro now as well. And that is Carl Halleck as they make their way through Castro Corner, the leading supercars through the kink and working their way towards Interceptor Corner. That's the first 2 in the supercars. Byron, back to the fine cars.
Yeah, we are on the final lap now, Frankie, and I was just looking at Melanie Lambert there, and Melanie just wants to get it to the end here of this race. She started on pole position, coming through the double apex right-hander at saddle sweep, but now onto the back straight. They then all run the supercars. Frankie will come to the end of their race fairly shortly.
Yeah, checkered flag will be out for the supercars that is working their way into turn number 5, into Pertamina Fostron for the final time. The 2 leading supercars working their way out Fostron Corner towards the checkered flag. And Ryan Cat tried all he could to try and beat Glenn Phillips to the line, but it's not going to be. Phillips comes home in P1. Ryan Cat finishes in second position, and Carl Halleck, he will finish in P3 across the line.
All right, so Gunther Appelgren will be on what will be the final lap of his race in turn 2. Castro Corner goes quite wide through that section, and then out through the kink he will then run. I see Carl Halleck has just now finished third, Frankie. Stefan de Keer on that side will finish fourth, but still Appelgren goes through turn 3 now for the last time in race 1. And onto that Tygerberg straight. He came all the way from the back. He started at the back of the field and pierced his way through in that lovely green E36 with a black bonnet. A man who started, of course, in Gymkhanas and is now really stamping his authority here on the Bijou Trustees fine cars. Down the straight we would go. As you can see, this beautiful Cape Town day all around him. And towards turn 5. And then we'll gun it to the line in his 8th and last of the laps as we do. The Bijou Trustees fine cars, like the supercars, need a shot in the arm, and hopefully we can grow this and get more competitors. But now we focus on Gunther Appelgren. Comes towards the line, property management, Castrol and City of Cape Town Bridge, and takes a wonderful victory for him. You'll see the checkered flag waving there. And look who's coming around here as well. Dave Alexander will take second, and he actually put a mighty drive in to try and catch Appelgrein. He's 5.8 seconds off at the end. And then we wait for the Lambert. No? All right, so there we go. They are. So it just shows you only the two top competitors in fine cars finished on the lead lap with the supercars.
Yeah, that was Appelgrein and Alexander. And then in the supercar, Stefan Norkeer crossed the line in P4. And he has got the Lime Property sponsor on his car, which is the new company that has hopped on board here